The 26th of March, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora. Hello, Rabbi.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so let's try to find out where we got up to yesterday.
I think we did a bunch of Rashis yesterday.
Let's see. Okay.
See, I think we did
Sadistam.
said Amar Rava, we did.
Yeah.
For an unspecified field. A stam, Sadeh stam. We did that.
Right. We did that Rashi, and that's connected to what Rabbi said about Rav Huna Marav. That he says to his friend, this Sadeh that I'm going to acquire. When I acquire it, I don't own it now, but when I acquire it, it will be acquired to you.
Right. Me'achshav.
And the din is, it says me'achshav, and it works. Kana. The din is that it's kana. Okay, and Rava said, "Vistabra milsa derav." It's logical to say that that this what Rav said will only be effective if he just mentions a sada stam, aval sada zu. But if he mentions a specific field, so then it won't be effective. Why? Because mi yemar de zaben leba nahalech. Who says that he will be able to buy it from the owner of that field? Maybe he doesn't want to sell it.
Right.
Okay, that's what we got up to, and now we're up to Elokim.
Let's see. How Elokim, but by God, Amar Rav afilu bisade zu. Rav stated, even concerning this field. So he's contradicting. Whoever's speaking is contradicting the statement by Rava. Mikdei Rav Kiman Amra Lishmate. Let us see. According to whom did Rav state his ruling? Let's see. So who's Rav now? Rav Huna said in the name of Rav. Okay. So Rav's statement was the initial statement that said, the field that I'm going to acquire is yours at Me'achshav. So now the question is, who says Rav said that?
I think that it might be a continuation of Rava's statement. Rav is saying all of this. In other words, after Rav said his statement, it says Omar Rava. Rava says, Mistavra milsa de Rav bisada stam. Aval bisada zu lo. Because mi yemar, who says he'll buy it. But then Rava himself says Elokim. Elokim is, I swear that that I know that Rab said this even in a case of a specific field.
So you're saying the statement Ha Elokim is being made by Rava,
Yeah.
and he's contradicting himself.
No, he's not contradicting himself. What he said, what's the two things he said? He says, if you'll ask me, if you want my opinion, my take is that it only makes sense that Rav, that this din of Rav only makes sense if it's Sada Stam. Because otherwise, how's he able to do it? Because it's, who says the guy's going to want to buy? But he's saying, I know. He's saying, Elokim, I know that Rav said otherwise. I know that Rav said otherwise. I know that he said his din, even in the case of Sadazu.
So in other words, Rava is quoting Rav, and then he's saying, I disagree with Rav.
Yeah, first First he's saying it would seem to me that Rav's din should only apply in the case of Sadastam, but Elokim, Rav said his din even by Sadazu. So right at the end of the day, what's happening is that Rava is saying that he disagrees with Rav.
Okay.
About the where this statement of that Rav made could apply.
Right. All right. So now the Gemora is asking, who says that Rav said what we just quoted him as saying? Which is a funny question because isn't it Rava? Clearly, Rava said it. Rava said this is what Rav said.
No, that's not what the Gemara is asking. Michti, Rav Kaman. According to who is Rav? According to which Tana is Rav going in making the statement that he's making?
According to which Tana? All right, let me read on and then maybe come back if I still don't understand. Rebbe Meir, according to Rebbe Meir, Damar Adam Makne Devar Shalo Ba Haolam, who said a person can convey ownership to another of an item that has not yet come into existence. Disanya, for we learn in the Brisa, Haomer Leisha, he says to a woman, His Kadshi Li, become betrothed to me, La'achar Shehes Gayar, after I convert. La'acher she'es gayri, or after you convert. La'acher she'esh tarar, or after I am emancipated. La'acher she'tish tachrari, or after you are emancipated. La'acher sheyimus ba'alech, after your husband dies.
Oy vey.
What?
Oy vey.
Yeah, that's kind of bizarre.
Kind of funny thing to say.
Yeah. La'achar sheyichatlut lecha, I'm sorry, lach, uh, yivamech, or after your yavam performs a chalitza for you. La'achar shetamus achosecha, or after your sister dies. Aina mikudeshes, she is not betrothed. Rabbi Meir Omer mikudeshes. Mikudeshes. Rabbi Meir says she is betrothed.
Yeah.
So let's see, who said what here? Let's see. According to Rabbi Meir, the Brisa says, he's taught in a Brisa. Okay, so it's the Tanakama. The Tanakama says it does all of these cases don't work, and Rabbi Meir disagrees and says they do work.
Right.
So we're saying Rabbi Meir is the Tana that enables Rav to make his statement because Rabbi Meir establishes uh, that you can act on the basis of something that has not yet come into the world.
Right.
Okay, I think I understand that. Vaha isha bisadeh zu damya. Now, in this case of the advanced betrothal of a woman is like the advanced gift of this field, for there is no guarantee that these events will take place. Amar Rebbe Meir Mikudeshes. Yet Rebbe Meir says she is betrothed. Okay, so that, according to the English, Rav likewise rules that even the advanced conveyance of this field is effective when it is subsequently purchased by the giver. So what are we trying to establish here? Let's see. He says, by God, this field works. And now we're trying to say, how do we know that this field works according to Rava? Because he's relying on Rabbi Meir, who says that you could specify something specific that perhaps is not likely to happen. That sound accurate?
Yeah, the Gemara's question is Mikdi Rav Kaman, Amr Lishmaise. According to which Tana does Rav say his Shmaise over here, his halacha? His halacha about the Jew number 2 that says the Jew number 3, when I buy the property, so I'm going to give it to you as a gift. So even though he doesn't right now own the property, Kana, it's a valid and effective deal, and he can't. Jew number 2 cannot back out. So the Gemara asked, according to whom does his statement go? Which which Tanaic opinion? So the Gemara says it goes according to Rebbe Meir, and then the Gemara brings the brisa in which the Chachamim differ with Rebbe Meir about all these cases of kedushin with a person who's making the kedushin, but he's not capable of making kedushin right now with this woman for various reasons. He's not Jewish. She's not Jewish. She's a slave. He's a slave. She has a husband. She's a Yavama. Various reasons. So it's comparable to a davar shelo ba'ala olam, something that hasn't come into the world yet. It's not come into the world yet for her to be able to be married to him, and yet now he's making the statement of kedushin. So the Chachamim say it doesn't work. It's not effective. Rebbe Meir says it is effective. So the Gemara says, "V'ha isha kesada zu damya." The Gemara says that the status of this woman in this brisa is comparable to the case of Sadazu, where Jew number 2 says, I'm contracting with you, Jew number 3, that when I purchase Sadazu, I will give it to you as a gift. Mi'akshav.
Okay, so here's what's bothering me. We have Rob is stating two possible cases. One is Sada Stam and the other is Sada Zu. So Rav Huna.
Oh, Phil is trying to get in. I didn't see him. Okay. Always got to be looking.
So
yeah, sorry.
Rav Huna, I'm sorry, Rava is making a distinction between the two and saying that he doesn't think that Sada Zu works, but he thinks Sada Stam does work. Now we seem to be trying to focus in on Sada Zu by quoting Rebbe Meir, who says that you can buy something that's not come into the world. But Sada Stam is also a case of something that's not yet come into the world.
Oh, well, that's right.
Why are we focusing on Sada Zu? Should be either.
Because that's what Rav said. According to Rava is swearing that he knows that Rav said his din even in the case of Sada Zu. So now the Gemara says, oh, Rav said his case even by Sada Zu. So let's see who can he be supported by in saying such a statement like that. That's what we want to know now. That's why we're focusing on Sada Zu, because Sada Zu is a very strong, strongly lo bo la'olam, because not only does he actually not own it right now, but also who says he'll ever get it? Because his ability to get it is constricted by the free choice of the one who owns it. That was Rava's point. Who says that the owner of Black Acre will ever sell it to this Jew number 2? So that's a really strong case of a davar shelo ba'ala olam. He doesn't have it right now in his possession, and who says that he'll ever get it? It depends on somebody else. So in a case like that, is there any support for such for such an acquisition to be made? That's why the Gemora now brings this brisa with the Chachamim and Rebbe Meir, because the Gemora is saying, according to what Rebbe Meir is saying in this brisa, that all these cases of kedushin are effective. That the Gemora says is comparable to Sadazu.
And my question is, who says it's comparable to Sadazu? Maybe it's comparable to Sadashtam.
Oh, okay. So now that's a good question. That's an excellent question. That's so that's we're gonna have to think about that. Maybe Rashi points something out about that, but that's so far that's what the Gemora said.
Right.
The Gemora made that statement.
Okay. All right. So I guess I don't know. Phil, are you there? You want to read the Rashi?
I don't see Phil showing up here.
I don't see you, and I see you're muted.
Yeah, I'm here. I was here. I just didn't turn on the camera, and then I didn't turn on the unmuted, and now I'm back on with this. I was there. I just didn't. Yeah. Okay. So where are we reading from?
We just
okay.
read,
So
we just read about Rabbi Meir and the Brisa on Rabbi Meir, and we want to look at the Rashi. I think it's the Ha-Elokim would be the next Rashi.
Okay, wait a second, because I wasn't here yesterday. Didn't have the Gemora open yesterday, so I'm trying to find. Tell me where you are in the Rashi. Ha-Elokim. Yeah, I see Ha-Elokim.
Yeah.
It says Bishvua, making a shua. Rav Amra. Rav says, "Afilu v'sadezu." Even in this field, the mikadei that it's like Rav. Kaman Omar, like he says, Lishmaito, that his finding are Rebbe Meir, like Rebbe Meir.
Yeah, that's what the Gemara said. The Gemara said, Michti, Rav Kaman Amrish Lashmaise. Let's look into this. Rav, according to which Tana is he saying his memra, his din?
I don't see that Rashi has added anything to our understanding.
Well, Rashi's just explaining that this language of Halukim is that the one who's speaking is making an oath that Rav said his din, even in a case of Sadazu.
Right.
So, and then he says, yeah, this part I don't quite follow, what it is that Rashi wants with this next statement. The Mikti, this that the Gemara said, let's look into this, Rav Kaman, Lashmaise, Kareb Meir. It sounds like Rashi's showing you from the continuation of the Gemara that this was this is the way we're to understand this word Elokim. That he's saying that Rav even said his case in the case of Sadazu. Let's see what if they say anything about this. See, does Art Scroll say anything about this, Rashi?
A good question. Let's see.
It'll be note number 6.
A Gentile's betrothal to a Jewess, or a Jew's betrothal to a Gentile woman is ineffective. No, I don't think that's.
No, it's not the one before that, as the Gemara will mention immediately. the dispute between Reb Meir and the Chachamim is equally applicable to property that is not yet owned by the giver, and to situations in which an acquisition cannot take place at the time due to the legal status of the giver or recipient. Thus, Rav's ruling that the recipient acquires the field that the giver did not yet own at the time of the transaction must follow the view of Reb Meir, even if Rav referred only to a case of an unspecified field.
Yeah, because if Rava is the one who's continuing to talk, I mean, when the Gemora says Elokim, that's not the Gemora saying. The Gemora doesn't say Elokim. That's a person that said that. The person is making a shvua. So right. Presumably that's Rava, because we don't know anybody else who is talking except for Rava. And that's puzzling to Rava because Rava says it only makes sense only if you say sadastam. So yeah, I'm not really sure what Rashi's doing over here. It seems like Rashi's proving from the statement of Michti that Rav in fact does hold Sodazu is a valid statement, effective statement.
Right. And that begs my question, which is, how do we know it's not sadastam?
I think he was saying that it's the same thing, that it works for both. That's what I think that Rashi was trying to say.
Okay. Okay. Maybe there'll be some explanation from this Rashi, Vaha Ishak Sadazu Damya.
And this woman is kasada, so like this field, similar to this field in that case. Okay. The yesh, there is be'elo, and these she'ain biyodo, that aren't in his hand yet, lahavi atzmo, to bring himself, l'chlal, to the rule of kedushin, ka'asher, that since ein biyad zeh, it's not in his hand yet, that's lakof et Baal Hasadeh, to force the field owner, l'machro, to sell love to him. The avar, the ebed, because it's an ebed and a shivcha, to them ein biyadam l'shechrer asmam, because they can't. If you talk about the case of an ebed and a shivcha, they can't free themselves. It's not in their power to do that. The ein biyad ha'isha, and it's not in the hand of the woman, meet et bala, to force her husband, u achato, or her sister, shiavo, that will come l'chlal kedushin, to the rule of kedushin, mikudeshet he, l'mafreya, she would be mikudeshet retroactively.
Oh, okay. So in other, and the case, in these cases of kedushin of the brisa, and the Rashi says that what's the common denominator is it's not biyado in the case. Biyado means it's within the person's own capacity and ability to create the desired result, even though it's not right now. We don't have the thing here right now, but it's in his ability to bring it into the world. But here, for example, in the case of the field that Rav was talking about, that's what his objection was in the case of Sodazu. He says, who says the Jew number 2 is saying, when I acquire Blackacre, then I'm going to give it to you, Jew number 3, as a gift. So Rava's objection to the effectiveness of that statement is because who says that the owner of Blackacre, it's owned by somebody else right now? And who says that owner is going to be interested to ever sell his Blackacre to Jew number 2? Maybe he's not interested. It's not for sale, he'll say. So it's called that it's not biyado for Jew number 2 to make such a transaction with Jew number 3. In other words, not only is it a davar shelo bo la'olam because he doesn't own it right now, so obviously he can't sell it to him right now because he doesn't own it. But it's not even biyado for him to acquire it, because it's dependent on the mindset of the owner, whether he wants to sell it altogether. Maybe he doesn't want to sell it. Okay, so that's called biyado. There's a lack of biyado in the case of Sodazu, and so too there's also the same lack of biyado in the cases of kedushin. Which cases did Rashi mention over here? Because he's one of the cases was, he says it's true that it is biyado of a person to convert. That's called biyado. But Rashi doesn't mention anything about that case of the brisa. He mentions the other cases of the brisa. It's about the person, the man or the woman, is a slave or a maid servant, and so like that, and the other person is a full-fledged Jew. So the marriage won't not work unless both of them are full-fledged Jews. An Eved Kanani can't marry a full-fledged Jewess, and a full-fledged Jew cannot marry a Shivcha Kananis. And so he says, well, when you when you are emancipated? Who's going to be the emancipator? Abraham Lincoln? Maybe he's not going to want to emancipate this person. So it doesn't. It's the same lack of biodo. And yet, even with all those problems, Rebbe Meir says the Kedushin works. And not only does it work, Rashi points out that the Kedushin is going to be even retroactive. It's going to work lemafreya. I don't know how that could be, but that's the way it's going to. It's good. Yeah. Let's just say that it works. So therefore, we see that in order, if Rav is going to say that his statement works, even in the case of Sadazu, he's only going to be able to go according to Reb Meir. And in that case, the Chachamim disagree. So he's going like Reb Meir, who's a minority opinion against the majority. Okay.
Okay. Basically, time.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, and there's a whole. I don't know if you read the part at the end where there's this issue about it. Sadazu, about Rob. Oscar's kind of saying Rob agrees with Reb Meir. So they have that may be the next line. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Take care.
Great day. All the best, Phil. All the best, Lou.
Good day. Take.
Be well. Be well.